This video is sponsored by Manta Sleep. After Hours is a 1985 neo-noir black comedy written by Joseph Minion and directed by beloved Martin Scorsese. On a $4.5 million budget, the film grossed $10.6 million. Although Marty is one of the most praised filmmakers of all time, rightfully so, I feel like, at least to my knowledge, this movie is not that talked about as in terms of his catalog, or period actually. You know, when people talk about Marty, they bring up, I think out of all of them, I would say Taxi Driver first, Raging Bull, Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, and here I am like, ha 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 guys, what about After Hours? Made quickly and cheaply after the collapse of his passion project, The Last Temptation of Christ, Marty said in an interview how the protagonist's feeling of being stuck in the underworld and facing conspiratorial bad luck was reflective of his own anxieties about his career at the time. There was this feeling of being cast out of paradise, so to say. And hey, look, homeboy was on a mission to prove that, you know, I still got it. His spirit had not been killed. This film is a darkly comic descent into New York City nightlife chaos. It follows a mild-mannered word processor whose simple late-night outing spirals into a series of bizarre, nerve-wracking encounters that grow more surreal with every turn. It's basically a nightmare disguised as a comedy, a portrait of urban alienation, bad luck, and the absurdity of trying to survive one long sleepless night. So grab your best cream suit, a $20 bill, or two, and meet me out front by the cab, because tonight we're going to downtown Soho to meet a girl. Before we dive into the strange, surrealistic world of Scorsese's After Hours, allow me to tell you a little bit about today's sponsor, Manta Sleep. You know, everybody knows that New York is the city that never sleeps, right? But you know who does need sleep? You and I. And that's where these heroes come in. They have a little collection of blackout masks that give you 100% pitch darkness, super lightweight, soft cushion eye cups, fully adjustable and designed to knock you out faster than an awkward Soho party. I've been using mine nightly, and it's the only reason that I wake up rested, not like I just lived through some After Hours odyssey. So click the link in my description and use my Elm Street inspired code DreamWarrior for 10% off your order. Upgrade your sleep with Manta, and thank me in the morning. The film opens with some loud, grand classical music and a quick title card with quick cuts of the cast. Everything moves so goddamn fast. I have not seen this movie in a long time, and for a second, I thought it was my Blu-ray. Thought it was playing tricks on me, but you know, this is the movie. We swing by our protagonist who's training a new employee, Paul Hackett. This guy tells Paul he can get this down in a week, but this job is definitely not something he wants to do long term and will be temporary. He politely asks Paul not to tell their boss, Mr. Devon, that he said that, before going into an entire monologue about what he really wants to do, which is, you know, open up his own magazine. And Paul is looking all around the office at people typing, printing papers, low-key dissociating, completely zoned out, and then he excuses himself. He's the last person to leave the office as the gates close, and he heads home to his bland and empty apartment. Clicking through channels, reading, what a life, right? Paul reads a Henry Miller book at a late-night diner, and at a table across from him is a girl named Marcy. She tells Paul she loves the book he's reading, quoting its passages from memory, and he's all blushing. Paul goes into a big old yap session about how this is not his first time reading it, all his other favorite authors, and Marcy gets up, staring past him, joining him, bringing up something completely different. She asks him if the cashier looks weird to him. She says he keeps making these strange moves movements, which he is. It looks like he's, trying to practice some type of dance or something. Paul asks if she wants another cup of coffee, and Marcy rejects. She's gonna head over to her friend's house in downtown Soho. Apparently this friend lives in a loft and she's a sculptress. She's been making these plasters of Paris bagels and cream cheese, trying to sell them as paperweights, and she asks Paul if he wants to buy one. Now, when Paul asks how much, she says, I don't know, but if he's interested, then she'll give him her number, which she does. Paul tries to write the number down in his book, but his pen is dry.
Excuse me, can I borrow your pen?
Paul calls Kiki when he gets home, who is serving him one-word responses being drier than a piece of bread, and Kiki ends up giving the phone to Marcy, who starts chatting Paul up. Look at this joker all gushy. He definitely did not write that number down for the paperweights. Like, bro, you just wanted to see her again. It's okay. He asks if she works near the coffee shop, but Marcy says that she was only there because she was at another friend's, whom she had an argument with. Marcy asks Paul if she should make up with this friend, and he's like, I don't know, sometimes you're just better off. You ain't slick. When Marcy tells him he should come over, he's like, huh? Shorty, it's 11:32 p.m. Sounds like a booty call to me. Well, a dick appointment? Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Anyway, she gives him her addy, saying she's glad he called. And Paul says he'll be there in 45 minutes. By the time Paul is able to haul a taxi, he lets the driver know he's only got 20 minutes. So naturally, this is code for, step on it. And he does. I mean, just look at this footage. This is not sped up, by the way. This motherfucker is sliding all over the back seat. And for whatever reason, he puts a $20 bill in the cup ahead of time. But his window is down and the wind blows his bill away. Paul even hollers out that his money went out the window, but the driver can't even hear him, and he's still driving. So when they reach the destination, the driver tells him his total is $6.50, and he's like, oh well, actually, Miss Mama, you was driving so fast, and I don't have any money. And look at the driver. Look at the driver's face, yo. Paul gets out the car, going to the passenger window, showing his empty wallet. Like, look, I ain't got nothing, man. So the taxi driver furiously speeds off. I wonder how Travis Bickle would respond. When Paul hits the buzzer that says Franklin with the name Bridges crossed out, the doors are still locked. Very weird, because Marcy said that the apartment was Kiki's, and yet her last name is crossed out. What's going on? We officially meet Kiki, who drops her keys in front of him as thunder claps right when they hit the ground. You better listen to the gods, Paul. Also, I mean, damn, she didn't even tell him what key unlocked the door. I mean, how many keys are on the damn ring? I bet he probably just had to try all of them. Whoever this Kiki girl is, I do not like her attitude. No introduction, no nothing. Just this dry ass attitude. Like, bro, what happened to hospitality? If you want to get that reference, watch my video on the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Kiki tells Paul that Marcy ran to the all-night drugstore, so he walks around her place, complimenting it, then asks if she shares the loft with anybody. And Kiki just, ignores this, asking if he wants to work on her sculpture because her shoulders are hurting. What? Paul's saying that this is her work and why would he touch it, but she just shows him how to slap the newspaper on the sculpture, and the phone rings. It's Marcy, and although we can't hear her voice, she asks Kiki if Paul showed up. Then we hear Kiki say, "That's your problem, Marcy. I'm not telling him." Kiki points out how he's got some plaster on his shirt and that she could throw it in the washer for him because it'll only take 20 minutes. She then brings him a nice little striped dress black shirt that he can, wear in the meantime. Kiki saying how sculpting all day can make her shoulders hurt, so Paul kindly offers to give her a massage.
Read my mind.
Bro just casually pulls her straps down, rubbing her shoulders, telling this girl she's got a great body. Doing a little too much, babe. Kiki says she's got no scars on her body, unlike a lot of girls she knows. Some of them are covered head to toe in them. That feels shady. I guess the massage was too good because homegirl passes out, so Paul puts his jacket on and leaves right when Marcy returns. So he runs back inside trying to look as natural as possible, and this girl is visibly confused, but she's like, anyways, let's go hang in my my luxe bedroom. As we all would, Marcy starts asking Paul what he did to Kiki, and he's getting defensive, saying she was just asleep. Homegirl gets up to take a shower, and she's telling Paul she hopes he doesn't have to get up early tomorrow morning because he seems like somebody she could talk to. And tonight she feels like she's gonna let loose or something. Let loose. Let loose.
I feel like something incredible is really gonna happen here. I feel so excited. I don't know why.
Bitch, what the fuck? She tells Paul if he wants to smoke a joint, feel free, because there's a few in her bag. And he's like, no, I'm good, shorty. And the camera does this strange fast swoosh up to her as she winks and heads for the shower. Marcy's telephone rings and it's a man asking for her.
Did you just tell her Greg called?
Kiki is at the door frame taking off her bra and she asks if Marcy's back, turning around in boredom when Paul says yes. No wee for you. Paul goes through Marcy's bag finding Butessin for second-degree burns. What the hell? And almost immediately this girl is done showering. What the hell? She was only gone for 2 minutes. Come on. Paul starts asking Marcy who's Franklin, alluding to the name on the buzzer, and she gets up. I don't know what the hell is going on tonight. It is 12:32. Is it technically after hours? I would say so. This is my second time recording this. I got like 15 minutes in and for whatever reason, all the power went out and like immediately came back on. All my footage was gone. I had to start over. I was like, oh no. And just now one of my lights died. Had to switch it over, change. Like, This is a little too on the nose for the film we're talking. Like, please chill out. Like, I can't. I'm gonna just cut the camera off and go to bed and cry. Like, please. Let me have this. Paul asks Marcy who's Franklin, alluding to the name on the buzzer. And she starts getting upset because he's still not sitting on the bed like she told him. This film has a lot of that, if you can't tell. You know, he does this a lot in this movie. Like, he will ask these characters a question and they will completely ignore dream logic. That's exactly what it is. It's like dream logic. Like, just, no, bitch, answer me. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Marcy briefly leaves the room to apply her ointment, and when she returns, Paul lets her know
Greg called.
Oh, that little find out I was staying here tonight. Probably wants to whine to me about his latest boyfriend.
Okay. Uh-oh. Now see, listen, you guys, wait a minute. Hold on, Brandy. Let me say this. Tammy.
oh yeah, no. All your points just got docked off. You, Miss Macy's. Paul notices a bunch of scars on Marcy's thigh and she tells him that she was SA'd right in this bedroom. He came in through the fire escape, held a knife to her throat, tied her to the bed, and took his time, 6 hours. Paul asks if the cops got him and Marcy's like, nah, actually the guy was a boyfriend of mine. Anyway, I slept through most of it. I will not get canceled right now. You know, I live for the girls, but like, I don't like this girl. I do not. Because what are you saying? I believe her, but I'm gonna be quiet. The phone rings a second time, but they let it ring, and Marcy suggests that they go out and get coffee. I mean, hey, it's not even 2 o'clock yet, so there are some places open. While examining the sculpture once again, Paul sees a $20 bill glued onto the sculpture, but he doesn't pick it up because Marcy comes out of her room ready to leave. Yeah, you crazy as hell. I would have took that damn $20. That's as far as I know, that's a sign from God. When they sit down in the diner, Paul asks her again, who is Franklin?
Franklin is my husband.
Shit getting out of hand now.
I swear to God, is this girl just like a pathological liar or something? I love a mysterious character. I do, but there is a vast difference between being charmingly enigmatic versus just lying. So this Franklin guy is the one who owns the loft. He's currently in Turkey and Marcy only stayed with the guy for 3 days when they got married. Apparently bro was like some big movie freak, but I mean, he was only obsessed with like one film, The Wizard of Oz. He talked about it constantly, and Marcy thought it was cute at first. On their wedding night, he took her virginity, and whenever he came, he just screamed out, "Surrender, Dorothy!" And he couldn't stop, so, you know, she just had to break the whole thing off. Paul asks for the check, but a man named Peter tells him it's on the house. Cause what the hell, different rules apply when it gets this late. It's like, after hours.
Thanks, Peter.
Sure, Marcy. Have a good evening.
This is the shit I'm talking about. Paul, you need to leave this girl alone. I'm on the boy side tonight. I don't care. 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 So far, these female characters are like, oh boy, no, nope, 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 chop, chop, chop. When they walk out the diner, Marcy blows Peter a kiss and he catches it. When they get back to the complex, Paul stops her in the hall, kissing her, and she starts laughing herself into a cry. I can't. Y'all, I don't care. You can come for me all you want in the comments. Paul needs to leave this girl. You know, this is trauma central. This girl needs therapy. While sitting in her room again, we hear pieces of dialogue out in the hall where Marcy says, "The guys gave it to me." She's talking about how this pill is making her sick. Bro starts looking through a book with photos of burn patients and starts getting grossed out, throwing it down right when Marcy returns. They're on the bed smoking a joint, and by the look on his face, there is something wrong with it. So he asks what type of pot it is. She's like, I don't know, it's Colombian. And he's like, no, it's not.
This isn't Colombian. I don't even think it's pot.
That's what the guy who sold to me said it was.
Well, the guy who sold it to you is a liar. So are you. That's shit.
Paul starts asking her what's up with the paperweight sculptures, you know, the thing I came here for. But then he's like, no, actually, like, I came to see you. But where are the paperweights? Like, I want to cough it up. He's starting to get a little aggressive, so she gets up, and right after Marcy grabs it from Kiki's bedroom, Paul jumps up grabbing his jacket. We can hear Marcy crying in another room, but we don't care. We don't care. Keep it pushing. Paul runs out in the pouring rain down to catch a ride home, but the fare cashier tells him the price is $1.50. It went up to $1.50 as of midnight. Like, fucking hell. All the homies got is 97 cents, and he's asking Poppy for a break since it's pouring down, and he just wants to go home and rub one out. But the man says, I'm sorry, I just can't do that. You know, I could lose my job. And when Paul asks him, how would anybody know? This man is like, I don't know, I could go to a party, get drunk, tell somebody. Don't piss me off. So he starts raising his voice like, the train is coming. Oh my God, come on. The train's right there. Give me a token. Come on. But the heartless man shuts off the intercom. Paul grabs his chain and jumps the gate, but is immediately trying to play the old okey doke. Like, LOL, I was just playing. He's like, I've never done that in my life. I don't know what came over me. I'll never take the train again. I'm sorry.
Must be a full moon out there.
This is absolutely a reference to Griffin Dunne's role in An American Werewolf in London, one of my favorite horror films of all time. Paul walks the streets finding a terminal bar where a jukebox record is playing. And besides the bartender, Tom, there are only 3 other people in the bar, and one of them is the waitress, Julie. When Julie asks if she could get him anything, Paul says all he's got is 97 cents, kindly asking if he could sit here even though he's not buying anything, and she says sure. He goes to grab a cigarette, and upon returning sees a paper waiting for him, a receipt that he lifts up reading, "Help, I hate this job." After leaving the bathroom, trying to get himself together and seeing a drawing of a shark biting a man's extra large penis, Julie is sitting at his table, but Paul instead sits at the bar. He's telling Tommy all he wants to do is get home but doesn't have the money, and Tom tells him he'll give him the money to get on the train. But immediately a man starts knocking on the window who we learn lives in Tom's building. The guy's been by the bar 3 times tonight to tell him about 3 separate burglaries in the neighborhood. Then Tom zones out trying to remember if he turned on his burglar alarm at home. We ain't worried about that. Come on. Open that register, nephew. I need to get the fuck. He walks to the register, but homeboy can't even get it open, so he just starts banging it and slapping it.
That's all right. Forget it. Doesn't matter.
Mad as hell, saying, no, I need to get it open because what if I get a rush? Like, right. You ain't gonna get no rush. What time is it? Like 1, it's like 1 a.m. You ain't even got no customers up in here. Tommy has a key for the register, but it's up in his apartment, and he can't leave the bar, so he gives Paul his address, asking him for a favor. But then he's like, wait, no, what am I doing? I don't even know you, bro. So Paul reasons with him, dropping his keys on the counter as a deposit, and if he doesn't come back, then these are his, and everything he owns is Tommy's. When Paul gets inside the apartment, he grabs the register key, then goes in the bathroom to rinse his face off, grabbing some towels drying, then he throws it in the toilet and flushes it. But uh-oh, the goddamn toilet overfills with blue water. When he leaves, two neighbors talking see Paul come down the steps and practically accuse him of being the burglar who keeps hitting the neighborhood. Look at the, like, yo, they stop him, putting their hands on him, asking who he is because he doesn't live in this building. See, first of all, get your hands off me before I break your fucking wrist. Paul is like, divas, I'm a friend of Tom's. But it turns out that there are 3 Toms living in this building. And Paul is like, bro, I'm not a burglar. Get your hands off of me. I mean, damn, he's even showing them the keys to Tom's apartment on the top floor. Like, what else do you want? What do you want? The queen say that there have been about 8 break-ins just last week and start apologizing. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Get your gay asses out my face. When Paul turns the corner, he sees the actual burglars talking about hitting a Radio Shack. And in one of the guys' hands is the sculpture that Kiki was working on. So Paul starts screaming, asking where they got it from, and the 2 guys drop the piece and a TV, hopping in their truck and driving off. So this is where we look for that $20 bill that we saw earlier. Right? But you know what this dude does? He grabs the sculpture and buzzes for Kiki's apartment. These 2 girls go the hell home. I can't even say it's getting weird. It's been weird. Kiki looks over the balcony asking what happened, and Paul tells her to throw down the keys. Why does she have this damn tie in her mouth? What is going on? And did Slim just forget that he's supposed to be returning the keys to Tommy? Like, this is where it starts. Right? Actually, it's not where it starts, but this is where the tanglements start. Like, clearly, bro don't want to go home, because if you did, you would have took your ass back to that bar and returned them keys to get the money to get on the train to take your ass home. But oh no, we worried about this goddamn sculpture. When he gets inside, Kiki is tied up and Paul's looking at him like, what the hell? This must have taken hours. What are these guys, sailors? It's so elaborate. He asks how the burglars got in, and Kiki is confused, laughing, saying that those 2 guys, Neil and Pepe, are friends of hers. Apparently, she sold her television to them for $300. And after Paul asks how they got hold of the sculpture, that's when we meet a man named Horse. If we're alluding to Neil and Pepe buying this sculpture from Kiki, then why did they drop it and run when Paul was shouting? Because if you paid for something, you're not just gonna, no, like, y'all stole it. Like, yeah. Anyway, this Horse guy is calling Paul rude, saying that, he ought to be ashamed of himself in this little leather belt strap.
Lack of discipline.
Oh, not this. Kiki says it's not too late for Paul to finish what he started. So Paul knocks on Marcy's door, who's knocked out, and he continues talking, closing the door. He's saying how there's no excuse for his actions, and he was spooked with the story about her husband, blah, blah, blah. Babe, she is not responding. Check her pulse. Put a mirror under her nose. Like, look at her. Are you stupid? Why do you keep talking? Like, call the cops. He grabs her hand and puts his thumb over her pulse, not feeling anything. Then grabs a pill bottle on the counter, which, 1, has the name Thomas Shore on it. Who the f is that? 2, the bottle says only take 1 at bedtime. And 3, not the pills being Seconal. Paul starts hollering for Kiki, trying to open the door, but then the damn door is locked. What is happening? So he knocks it down, running into the main room, and sees a note that Kiki left saying her and her S&M leather daddy went to Berlin for drinks. Paul calls the police to report a death sitting next to her body, pulling the sheet back, where he sees a skull tattoo with a hat. Looks very, very familiar, doesn't it? You know where that's from? That's the same joint that was on Tommy's keys. Yeah. Bitch, what the hell? He pulls back the sheet completely, and there are no scars present on her body anymore. Paul double checks the keys and starts hanging signs that say dead person with an air. Yikes. Putting a comb between the front door so it doesn't lock, and he leaves in the rain. Paul runs into Julie, who lets him know that she quit her job, and he's like,
"Oh, that's good for you, baby."
Like, what the hell is you telling me for? But Julie Andrews is talking about grabbing a drink to celebrate. And oh, the bar is closed. Paul starts asking where's Tom, like, where the hell do you think he probably went to his apartment to make sure that you won't robbing him. Julie's telling Paul she lives across the street, asking if he wants a TV dinner, just as Paul sees Neil and Pepe's van and starts screaming, running after them. But anyway, yeah, he caves and he goes to Jules. She's telling him he looks depressed as he sobs, and she's like, wait, hold on. Changing the music record and turning on Chelsea Morning. She's funny. Julie grabs this big ass sketch pad, scribbling, telling Paul to just let it all go, honey. You know, tell me your problems. And after he rejects, she's like, lighten up. I mean, what is this? All this doom and gloom, just be loosey-goosey. Her apartment is something else. I kind of like it. It reminds me of Selena Kyle's place in Batman Returns, even though this came out nearly a decade before. But the pink walls, the pink shelves, the rainbow decor, checkered comforter, and oh god, and then these damn mouse traps around her bed. What the hell? Well, it is New York, so. Julie started drawing Paul's face from memory. I mean, damn, he's not even sitting still in front of her. Like, this woman's got talent. She tells Paul she also works in the Xerox shop downstairs. She's got the keys and they're right over top of it if he wants to see. And he's like, LOL, no thanks. I've had enough excitement for tonight. At one point, Paul says, gee whiz, and for some reason, I don't know, for some reason Julie gets triggered and she's like, gee whiz, what is that, gee whiz?
I don't have to take that kind of shit, you know? I mean, what is it with people today? You can't say anything without getting some kind of a smart answer. You just have to be so goddamn careful about everything you say.
She's like, I overhear the customers at the shop when they're making fun of me, and I mean, it was raining outside and I invited you into my home. I mean, I didn't have to do that now, did I? Freaking out, bringing up a multitude of her life's problems, and Paul is just standing there apologizing for being rude. So after she randomly asks him to touch her hair and his fingers get stuck, Paul notices that Tom returned to the bar. So that's the cue. Juju is all, wait, I had a sense you were really starting to like me. Like, you ain't gonna leave me now, Poppy. You done lost your damn mind. I would have been like, yeah, just write your name and number down on a piece of paper, and you know, I'll call you. We gonna have dinner later this week. And then as soon as I walked out the door, like, throw it away. Paul tells her he'll go to the bar, give Tom back his keys, and then he'll be right back. It should take only 2 minutes. Now, what are you getting out of coming back? You're clearly acting like you're not into this woman. So you just, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. At the bar, there are two leather daddies drinking together, and Tom says he thought homeboy was robbing him. And after Tom offers Paul a drink, the two guys in the leather just start making out. This movie is so random. Paul asks Tom if he happens to have any powerful aphrodisiacs back there, talking about Julie. But Tom tells him to just take off, because I mean, you know, what is she gonna do? Unalive herself?
My girlfriend just killed herself.
Oh my gosh! Oh!
Tom says they had an argument and he told Marcy that she had to get out of the apartment. So he starts saying that this is all his fault, repeating her name, you know, Marcy, 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 Marcy.
Marcy, Marcy, Marcy.
This is so awkward, and Paul does not know what to say. And the leather men are like, what can you say? After all, it wasn't your fault. Paul tells Tom he's gonna be right back, running to Julie's, who rewards him for keeping his promise. And you know what she gives him? A Paris bagel paperweight. A big-ass New York rat snaps on the trap, just as Jules says she bought it from a local artist named Kiki Bridges. Who? Small world, isn't it? Paul is like, Julie, I promised I would come back, and I did, but now I really gotta bounce. He asks for her phone number, writes it down, and leaves, but she runs out in the hall because he forgot his bagel.
Get that away from me! Jesus!
Oh, really? Well, you're gonna be sorry for this.
Oh shit, she gonna light his ass on fire. When Paul comes outside, guess what? The bar is locked up again. Neil and Pepe come out a building with more objects in their hand. One of them wants to hang it up for the night, but the other is like, no, Poppy, let's look for the statue. Paul goes back to Tom's apartment, knocking on the door and gets no response. The two neighbors from earlier are in the hall talking when they see Paul again and start chasing after him because it's that guy again. So he rushes back to the diner he attended with Marcy, and Paul promises that he'll buy something. Paul reaches in his pocket, pulling out Kiki's note about being at Berlin for drinks. So he gets up telling homeboy that he's gonna put a quarter in the meter by his car before saying, I'll have a burger, medium rare, and a coffee. Paul goes to Berlin where a single bouncer standing outside won't let him in. The man asks if he's got money and Paulie D pulls out the 97-cent in his pocket. That's when a man with a mohawk walks up and is let in without question. Apparently you can get in if you have a mohawk because it's Mohawk night.
Right.
So Paul starts laughing like, bro, you playing with me right now, raising his voice to let him in, and the man keeps reiterating, are you sure you want to go in? And yes, he is sure. Inside the club, there's flashing lights, big fences, what the helly? I guess this is where the punk rock people go. The bouncer follows him all the way to the back where people are getting haircuts, and the bouncer tells the barber to mohawk Paul, and he's like, oh hell no! Trying to run, but they grab him and Paul is screaming for Kiki and her leather daddy. Even though you're in a club and the music is loud as hell, like can't nobody hear you. He's saying that Marcy is dead and that her friends Neil and Pepe are crooks and he's broke. Yikes. The barber gets a few clips in before Paul breaks free, and after panning up, we get a director cameo of Marty, who's controlling the spotlight at the partiers. He's so random. I would love to meet him. Paul is running through the streets talking to himself saying, I'll kill those barbarians. Feeling the bald spot like, oh my god, I need to get a gun. He goes back to Kiki's and I mean damn, finally after all this fucking time decides to take the $20 bill from the sculpture. And when he looks out the window, he sees a crowd of people from Tom's building with flashlights looking for the burglar. Paul sees a taxi
I'm so sorry. It's all right.
trying to haul it, and a woman named Gail comes out. And oh boy, check this out.
I got the money back. Look at that. Isn't that great? Now you can take me uptown. Great. I'll be right back. See how you like it. No, no. Oh no.
I'm sorry, you deserve this. Not only after what you did earlier in the film, but you should have known that he would do that. What you should have did was got in the back seat and been like, look, Slim, I got the money. It's in my pocket. I ain't going, lowball you this time. But you ain't do that. This Gail chick is yet another cast member from Home Alone, Miss Catherine O'Hara. I love that woman. Paul's arm is bleeding and Gail persuades him to come up to her apartment, but he only obliges because she's got a telephone. Paul phones an operator asking for Peter's number, but every time he's given it, Gail starts saying random numbers, trying to like throw him off and make him forget. Babe, it's seven numbers. It is not that hard to remember. Like, this happens twice in a row.
I'm just trying to entertain you.
I don't want any entertainment. I'm sorry I did that. I'm sorry.
He's sitting here whining about not being able to get home. Look, you have nobody to blame but yourself. I'm not gonna repeat myself. I'm not gonna repeat myself, because if you really wanted to get home, Paul, your ass would have been home by now. Paul tells Gail that he could stay at this place on Spring Street, but he doesn't want to. He's talking about Tom's apartment, revealing the apartment is owned by a bartender whose girlfriend ended her life tonight, and he thinks it's because of him. And she's like, right. Yeah, you can't stay there. And Paul's like, exactly. So if you could just stop fucking playing with me and let me dial this goddamn number. But Gail hurt his arm and now she wants to dress it. There are pieces of the newspaper and paste on his arm as Gail starts reading a paragraph, and she starts trying to take the newspaper off because it's probably infected and it's stuck on his arm. So she turns to leave to go get some matches from her neighbor. Paul grabs his shirt and jacket running out, but Gail jumps in front of him asking where he's going. And he's like, I'm walking my ass home. What the fuck is he talking about? But he lives on East 91st, which is quite far. So Gail says, why don't I give you a ride home in my Mr. Softy truck? Which is something that she brought up as soon as they got to her apartment, like she runs an ice cream truck. They start walking around the corner to go to the truck, and Gail sees a yellow paper hung on a pole, and she stops, eyeing Paul. She snatches the paper and he's asking what's wrong, and Gail says, you're dead, pal. Then this chick starts blowing her whistle multiple times.
Gail.
She She hops in her truck, all the flashlights of the neighborhood appear, hollering, "That's him over there with the whistle!" And Paul darts down the street. Gail is behind him in her little ice cream truck with the crowd. This is a mess. I love this next part. Paul runs to a random building and he's like smacking different buzzers, naming off these residents' names, saying, hey, I went to school with your son. Then he hits another buzzer and he's like, Mom, it's me, open up. Paul books down an alley, climbing up a ladder onto a fire escape. And when he turns his head, he sees a man screaming at his wife.
I'll probably get blamed for that.
Paul continues running. My feet hurt looking at him.
Damn, bitch, my feet hurt. Bitch, my feet hurt. Damn, bitch, my feet hurt.
He stops in the middle of the road, falling to his knees, screaming to God, "What more do you want from me?" In the distance, he sees a man whom he asks for help. This is Robert. Bro is like, "What do you want me to do?" And Paul asks where he lives and if he could take him there.
There's certain things that I will not do.
They're sitting in his apartment and Robert is like, "Look, I've never done this with a man before and I'm a little nervous."
I'm a little bit nervous.
This is taking me out. Paul asks to use the phone, dialing 911, getting a hold of an officer, telling his name, saying he's in Soho, and now he has every reason in the world to believe that his life is in danger. He starts telling the operator about all the burglaries, and all they say is to get some sleep and hangs up.
Hello? Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
This is like the realest reaction like I've probably ever seen in a movie. I would probably react exactly like that. Like when I'm so gagged by something and my entire vocabulary is just stripped from my brain, like that is really all that can come. Like, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Paul asks Robert if he could crash on his couch because he's beat. And Robert asks why he doesn't just go home. We've been saying that the entire movie, bruv. Paul starts telling him all about his hectic night, and we time jump with the few crossfades as he becomes more unhinged. He is off his rocker. He's like, I just wanted to leave my home, meet a nice girl, and now I gotta die for it. Julie is outside on her bicycle stamping these yellow papers on posts, which makes all the sense on why she was drawing him. And Paul starts screaming for her, running outside, and he sees the wanted sign. The ice cream truck is her coming around the corner, and Paul starts booking down the road, snatching all the signs with him on it as he reaches the diner again and sees Tom inside. Tom just came back from the morgue, and Paul is venting about him not being a thief, and everybody thinks that he's a robber. So Tom's like, okay, stay here.
Wait, where are you going? Where are you going?
He's going to get your keys, calm down. The waiter, Robbie, comes out, giving Paul his medium rare burger and coffee, just as a woman comes inside the diner, handing Paul a flyer for a conceptual art party at the Berlin Club. The ice cream truck pulls up outside the diner, everybody gets out, and Gail is talking to Tom, who is now pointing inside the diner. Oh, I would have been gone. Back at it again, running down this goddamn street with the conceptual art flyer. He throws it in the bouncer's face, who immediately lets him in. There's a man at a bar who asks what he can do for Paul, and Paulie asks why it's so empty. Apparently because this function is invitation only. In the corner of the room, there is a woman named June. She's always here and usually nobody notices her. The bartender tells Paul if he's interested, he better hurry because he's closing in a few minutes. So Paul puts a quarter in the jukebox, and after a few minutes go by, he nervously asks June if she wants to have a drink with him because he's been having a really bad night and can't find anyone who will just sit with him without yelling at him. And June doesn't say anything but gets up and dances with him. There's then a banging on the window, and we can already see the crowd. It never stops. Why don't they just get the police involved at this point if they're so worried about it? They probably did, and they're not doing nothing. So they're like, take matter to your own hands. June asks why is he doing this? Why is he sharing his cigarettes and dancing with her? And Paul says, because I want to live. The bartender tells him it's time to go home as Paul repeats, "I want to live." And June pulls him downstairs with her. She lives right under this club. She's got a bed, a couch, a whole setup. This is cute. It's all right. She lays him on her chest and rubs his head till there's a loud bang and he jumps up. He's screaming that they found him, shaking her, asking if there's another way out, and she says no. But aha! What is this? June is like, "No, don't go in there. My dildos are in there." The room is full of sculpture pieces and Paul sees a rope that he starts pulling and a bunch of paste splatters all over him. The mob upstairs is trying to get past the bartender even though he's saying that no one's there. And when we cut, we see June putting newspaper all over him, turning him into a sculpture. Gail is directing everybody to strip the whole place down, search everywhere. They find the door to June's private apartment and the bartender starts knocking, saying that there are people who want to look at her apartment. June is like, "Bitch, I'm working." But Gail says tough titty busting down there, showing her flyer. And okay, see, if I was June, everybody would have gotten a bullet. On my mama. Like, I did not say y'all could come up in here and storm my damn private. Like, stop playing with me. They start looking through all around her place, hidden shit, tapping it, searching, as she continues pasting. And eventually Gail tells everybody to move out.
Okay, they're gone.
Oh, great. Can you let me out of this thing now?
No, you're safe like this. They could still come back.
Now.
Oh, hell no. She fucking tapes his mouth shut after he says, "Let me out." That's when I would have stood up. Well, he's like at an angle. He's like sitting. I would have rocked the boat. Slammed myself into the floor, the wall, something. June finishes and tells Paul she wants to check upstairs and see if they're still there, then cuts off the lights, leaving. Paul starts hearing a metal scraping and, oh look, it's Mr. Neil and Pepe, the real burglars, and you already know where this is going. One of them is calling all this antiques, but the other homie thinks it's just a bunch of junk, that is, until they see the same sculpture, and load him up in their van. They drive all the way uptown, and it's now dawn, and the doors fly open as the sculpture rolls out and breaks. Paul is now standing directly in front of his job, where two men open the gates for him, and he comes right into work, sitting down at his desk where his computer lights up saying, "Good morning, Paul." And the camera very dramatically sweeps out, scanning the entire office as the same classical theme from the beginning of the film starts playing. One thing about me, I love a film that feels like 2 a.m. I do. I love a film that is like, that should be a genre. Films that feel like 2 a.m. I put Blue Velvet in that category. What else? Donnie Darko, Taxi Driver, Blowout, Less Than Zero, Good Time, some of my favorite Wong Kar-wai films, Chungking Express, Fallen Angels. There really is an air to these films, and After Hours is no exception. I mean, look at the title. Speaking of the damn title of this video, let's get into it. If I never knew, like if I was just randomly flipping, through the channels or something. Well, this ain't cable, but you know what I'm trying to say. If I randomly stumbled upon this at night, which I truly think that is like the best way to experience this film, I swear I would think that this was a David Lynch film, like some Lynchian odyssey with, that's the king of surrealistic film. Just like a dream you can't seem to wake yourself up from. Paul Hackett is trapped in this strange web of strangers when all he wants is to get home. One thing leads to another, which leads to that other thing from the start of the night, but then, we have that one thing over there to worry about as well. Soho is an illogical and oppressive setting in this film, and an escapable prison. It's hinted that Paul has a desire to escape his soul-sucking job that he inhabits, yet through all the chaos of the night, he yearns for the safety of his mundane office life. All these events that befall our protagonists get increasingly completely ridiculous and coincidental. It's saying a lot about the absurdity of existence in a universe that seems to be actively conspiring against one man. Like, Paul, what the hell did you do in another lifetime, brother? What did you do before the film began to deserve this? I've seen people call this feature a yuppie nightmare, in that, this young professional's attempt to seek adventure in the edgy downtown scene is violently rejected and punished. It's also, though, saying a lot about loneliness and alienation. New York City is so hectic with this large mix of different cultures and clashes of personalities that, stepping back and examining it, everyone can start to feel animated in a way. Paul is constantly surrounded by people but can't truly connect or properly communicate. He's God's lonely man in a more manic, less violent way than, say, Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. If you want to go old school, you can look at Paul's journey like Orpheus's descent into the underworld, or go on the nose and compare Paul to Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. To think he did all this just for some kitty meow meow is insane. Think about it, the events of this film are fully instigated by a simple desire for some booty. But this goal is repeatedly thwarted and punished by increasingly aggressive or bizarre women. And what common trait did you notice among these women? They were all in some way emasculating him. Marcy's rejection, Kiki's aggression, the mob led by Julie and Gail, and finally June trapping him in plaster. It's crazy what a nigga will do for some Marty has called After Hours a parody of film noir and also a parody of a thriller. So let's talk about that for a second. What is film noir? This is a term to describe a type of American drama predominantly from the 1940s and 50s. Instead of being a strict genre, it's rather characterized by its visual style, mood, or philosophical outlook. There is a heavy use of low-key and high-contrast lighting to create deep shadows and stark lines, which is heavily influenced by German Expressionism. The use of Dutch angles is also a big aspect. Unbalanced compositions to create the sense of unease, disorientation, or psychological instability. Dark, corrupt, labyrinthian urban environments are essential. Rain-soaked streets, dimly lit apartments, you get the vibe. There's always this overriding sense that the world is bleak in film noir. The world is morally ambiguous and unforgiving. The protagonist's fate is often sealed from the beginning, no matter how hard they try to escape. Happy endings in that subgenre are rare, and you can't forget the often intricate, twisting plots involving crime, corruption, and betrayal. A lot of them use voiceover narration and flashbacks to tell the story from a subjective, jaded perspective. There's always a femme fatale, a mysterious, seductive, and cunning woman who uses her sexuality to manipulate the male protagonist, ultimately leading him down a path of danger and self-destruction. After Hours doesn't go full noir, but the elements are there. The mysterious femme fatale, how this block in Soho, or honestly just New York City in general, is this labyrinthian city. Paul being this man on the run, but Marty subverts all of this with black comedy and surrealism. The odd use of dynamic camera movements is one of my favorite parts about this film. I love these extended dolly ends and long tracking shots that create this, dizzying, full throttle momentum. It's good. It's so ridiculous how the catalyst for this entire ordeal was homeboy losing a $20 bill, which, by the way, in '85 is like around $60 today. Goddamn. But hey, look, that's why I don't like cash. I never liked cash, but then again, it was the '80s, so we ain't have no Apple Pay. After he lost that $20 bill, that Maslow hierarchy of needs pyramid was just crumbling down to dust from then on out. Now, the plaster sculpture and how at the end Paul finds himself inside of one is a very powerful symbol of his complete passivity. This was a transformation into an inanimate object, which is then unceremoniously dumped back. Like, you have lost your cotton picking mind if you think that I would have clocked right into work after going through all of that. But then again, he was probably so relieved to be in a familiar space again, he probably ain't even care, know? Like, I mean, it's funny at that point. You know, good morning, Paul on the computer screen. I would probably just bust out laughing. There were test audiences who pushed back against an alternate ending where Paul remains trapped inside the statue. If you ask me, the film's already a little bit nihilistic in a way, and you know, that would have been a little too dark. I can't say the point of After Hours is to skip fish for dinner and keep your freaky ass inside. Perhaps this isn't a warning at all, but instead, we just watch a man spend a night in this inescapable hell. Well, inescapable? I mean, he could have walked, but with the distance from Kiki's Soho loft on 28th Howard Street all the way up to Paul's uptown apartment on East 91st Street, that's about 5 miles, and it would have taken him 2 hours to get home. If he didn't have to like stop at any crosswalks, like straight on, it would have been about 2 hours. So, I mean, add more onto that. I don't know. Part of me is like, nah, fuck that. I would have walked, but then again, like, who gonna walk for 2 hours? And I mean, with his luck through that night, he was bound. If he did, he was bound to run into a multitude of problems. Funny enough, Marty couldn't figure out how to end the film. He had asked Brian De Palma, Steven Spielberg, and Terry Gilliam to watch the film so they could give him their opinion on how it should end. And just like damn near every film that's made, the original cut of After Hours ran 45 minutes longer. Necessary? Not at all, but I probably would have bought it. I ain't gonna lie, I would have bought it. Although Paul smiles as he dusts himself off when free from the sculpture, when that computer welcomes him back, he's essentially back to square one. The same existential trap. After Hours is a masterful cinematic translation of Kafkaesque paranoia. Our little Paul's night is defined by a system of rules that are arbitrary, constantly shifting, impossible to decipher. His tormentors, the bouncer, the women, the mob, they're not evil, they are just merely incomprehensible, what's a good word? Functionaries of an unforgiving world. The true genius of the ending is its refusal to offer a rational explanation. They don't say it be like that for a reason. Like, it be like that. Look, man, the universe is not only indifferent to human intention, but sometimes it can be actively and logically structured against it, but for the right reasons. There is no lesson here, but only the crushing return to the absurd status quo. What do you think about Martin Scorsese's 1985 After Hours? I want to hear your take. Leave a comment down below. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Give your man a like. It helps the channel out a lot. I would appreciate it. And if you're feeling extra froggy, turn on that bell notification. Don't be shy. I know you don't want to miss Poppy's new videos. I'm sorry. Thanks again to Manta Sleep for sponsoring this video. Check them out. Get yourself a nice sleeping mask. And in the meantime, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of your spirit.